Hello, welcome to the Word Cafe podcast. This podcast has been designed with curated content that centers on the power of words. Can we really do anything without speaking? Can we really do anything without the agency of words? Yes, that is what this podcast is all about. And I am your host, Amakri Isobwe, your neighborhood word trader. I believe in the power of words, for it is the unit of creation. I trade in words to profit my world.
Hello there. How are you doing? Beautiful. Okay, before we start anything, I will say it that way. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good everything, wherever you are on the surface of the earth today listening to me. How are you all doing? Beautiful, amazing. I am super excited, being here again. Yeah, sitting behind the microphone and knowing that you're there. It gives me so much joy, pleasure, and I'm honored. Super excited this season. Yes, March. A lot of things are going on in the month of March. When you speak of activities, globally speaking, and we have the Easter season, coming up, and Christians all over the world, we prepare for it, the Easter season. Yes, and also we have this St. Patrick's Day, which fell on the 17th of March. And you know what? That's my birthday. Yes, March is my birthday month, and super excited, doing so many things, and it's been amazing. Also, celebrating the 2 years of the Word Cafe, yes, podcast. All of this in the month of March, for me, it means a lot. And I'm just super grateful to God for the opportunity, to be doing this and knowing that you're there, sharing thoughts and all of that. Okay, enough of me. How are you? How's it been with you at your end? I understand we've had a lot of changes globally, particularly in Nigeria. We're in our election season, and also we've had this cash swap thing, like the old Naira notes giving way for the new Naira notes, and trying to bring into play the cashless policy. A lot of us have been going through it, Lord. It's been a huge challenge. I can imagine that, what? When the going gets tough, the tough gets going. Yeah. So that is it. We need to think. And that brings me to what I want to share with us today on the show. Yes. And I want to title this Inspiration. It's a known word. We play with it every day. What does it mean to be inspired? Or what's the meaning of inspiration? And today I want to look at it I want to start by looking at it from the biological perspective. Again, I'm going to go this route, looking at the human structure or the human being. I always love looking at it from this perspective. We are three-dimensional beings. Yes, we are spirit, soul, and a body. Man is a spirit. Man, now talking about mankind, is a spirit who dwells in a body and has a soul. So 3 dimensions for me, that's the way I view it. And all of these dimensions somehow have a kind of influence on the personality of mankind. It has this influence, and somehow we draw from all of these dimensions to make decisions and what have you. Looking back to my elementary biology, when we talked about the 7 characteristics of animals, now with reference to man, Mr. Ninja, when you talk about movement, respiration, irritability, nutrition, what have you, Mr. Niger? You know that growth, excretion, and reproduction, all of this put together. I think recently they've moved it from the Nigerian curriculum. I mean, now they've moved it from Mr. Niger. I had my children the other day when they were discussing. I told them that is Mr. Niger. The way I mean, when in our days we called it Mr. Niger. So, but something stands out when you look at that, our sense of smell or breath. So I decided to look at as usual, at the word cafe, the etymology of the word inspiration, the origin. What's the origin? Because if we can understand the origin of words, we will come to appreciate how to curate our world. Yes. Now I checked it up and said it comes from the Latin word inspiratus, the past principles of inspirare, to breathe, into, inspire. So basically, we need oxygen as human beings to survive. And how do we take in oxygen? We breathe in, we inspire. We take it in and we breathe out also. And the way I want to look at it is, as we take in that oxygen, yes, the O2, as we take it in, as we drink water, even HO2, because you have water is 2 part hydrogen, 1 part oxygen. As we take it in, we take in this element called oxygen, which our body needs. But literally, when we take it in, when we inspire it, it keeps us alive. Now, bring your minds. Come, bring your minds. The air we breathe in, the air that we inspire, we take in, is what keeps us alive. So practically every day of our lives, we are being inspired. And a lot of us don't even know it. Yes, we are being inspired. Scripture tells me, yes, that's where I get my, sense of purpose from. When you read scriptures, he said, there is a spirit in man, the breath of the Almighty giveth it inspiration. There is a spirit in man, the breath of the Almighty giveth it inspiration. Literally speaking, it's like saying, my nostrils are open to him. And him here is talking about God, the divine, and he releases his breath onto me and I take it in. Yes, at that level, the spiritual level, there is this, what I call it, process that takes place. And all of a sudden, all of my being begins to respond to the breath. Okay, now, am I spooking you? But that is it. We are all inspired in one way or the other, even when we don't see it. But the question now is, where we need to be is at that point that you are consciously aware of your inspiration, what inspires you. So the other day, my son walks up to me and comes up with this question. Dad, I said, yes. Why did Steve Jobs, I beg your pardon, why did he call that product, that company, Apple? And for a moment I was like, why are you asking? He said, no, I just want to know why. Why didn't he call it tomato, banana? Why did he call it apple? I was like, okay, all right. And we started thinking. I said, maybe he called it apple because from our primary elementary English, when we're learning how alphabet and all that and what they stand for, the fruit apple is always synonymous with A is for every child, from where I stand and what I've been seeing, the meaning to say A is for, they scream it, apple. I said, maybe that's why, because, apple is one of those fruits, one of the most famous fruits. He said to me, Daddy, okay. And I said, okay, maybe also from the fall of man, the story of the fall of man, as we read from scriptures, and somehow people begin to throw in one or two thoughts. They say that it was apple that Eve ate and gave to Adam, and apple became, no, for your information, that's not true. Scripture didn't say that. It's a fruit. It did not call it an apple fruit. So it was like, okay. And I said, also, there is this perception, this myth that growing up, we've heard it, the male voice box, what we call your esophagus, or they now say this Adam's apple, that when Adam ate the fruit, the apple, and as he heard the voice of God, that stuck, it stuck there, and that's the Adam's apple. He laughed and all that. The three scenarios I gave to him was like, well, you have a point. And he left me, but somehow I had to ask myself, why did Steve Jobs, why did he use that word apple? And as usual, as it is for our culture here at the Word Cafe podcast, we always research, ask questions, dig deep, and we get to know why. So I went to ask the question, I went to research, and I came upon this piece about, what influenced the Apple logo design. The company Apple, their logo, the name of the company is Apple, fine, but their logo is also an apple that is beaten in, some way, not half, not beaten in some way. And again, when you read, sorry, I forgot to mention that one of the things I discussed with my son, I think, when you read bedtime stories, stories that are from the West and all that, when you talk about the witch who gave an apple to, you understand, Sleeping Beauty ate an apple, whatever, so I said, maybe, and all that. So he walked away. So I went to do this research, and I saw that Steve Jobs, partly why he used the word, or rather the logo Apple for the logo of the company was, he had, from what I gathered, he had a penchant for Apple. Yes, for the Apple. As noted earlier, I'm reading from a piece now, the pioneer even got the inspiration for the brand's name after his trips to apple orchard communes in Oregon. That's somewhere in the United States. So it's no surprise that the company's logo is an apple. And also, he, from what I gathered, was a fruitarian, as in a fruitarian, I beg your pardon, a fruitarian, not a fruitarian, a fruitarian, as in a vegetarian who feeds on fruits, basically. And also, that also inspired. Then also, the earliest logo of Apple was that of, the story of Isaac Newton when he came about the three Newtonian laws. One of it was that he sat under an apple tree, and an apple dropped and hit him or so on his head, and that inspired him about the law, the kinetic law, as gravity and all of that. So this was also part of what influenced Steve Jobs and the group, in coming up with the logo. That's what I read. But this is where I'm going with all of this. We are surrounded by inspiration every day of our lives. We are all, should I say, encompassed roundabout with so much to inspire us, literally speaking, as in, because we breathe in oxygen, we breathe in, man is a being who is inspired by what he sees than more than what he hears. Yes, what he sees, practically what he sees is what he intentionally begins to listen to. That's the nature of man, and so breathing in is like an image. It is always there, but we have to be intentional about it. And that brings me to that part of meditation. I am not talking about leaving your mind blank. I am not talking about, from scriptures. What I gathered, it's there from Joshua. He said, this book of the law shall not depart out of your mouth. You will meditate on it day and night on a continuous basis to observe all that is written therein. Then will you make your ways prosperous and you will find good success. So we are inspired every day. Calm yourself down, sit down, and look at things that have been happening to you as an individual, as a person. If you really look at that, you are being influenced by everything around you. Everything around you in this case is those things you take in, those things you breathe in, those things you imbibe that drive you. They inspire you. Because the literal, when you look at now how English has evolved and they want to look at the language and the meaning of inspiration, you come to see that now it is about what drives you. What drives you. Whatever drives you is within, is not without, so to say. Whatever is driving you like a car, you feel it with your gas, your PMS or whatever, premium to spirit, and you step on that, the pedals, and the car begins to move, and you begin to stir the wheels and move from one. But basically, what drives the car, it is the PMS, the premium motor spirit, that is, again, spirit, yes, that is infused into the car. So that is what happens to us, literally. So we need to consciously practice that art of meditation, meditating on God's word, being inspired, because it's like the breath of the Almighty giveth him inspiration. It is like a child looking to the father or the mother, and you release the breath from your mouth, and the child inhales, inspires that breath. Take the breath in, and the being, the faculty, the personality of the child just comes alive. So what inspires you? We are in a season. We are in a season that we need inspiration. The breath of the Almighty coming upon our personality, our being. We need that inspiration. We need that breath. English would say inspiration is a feeling of enthusiasm you get from someone or something, which gives you new and creative ideas. And that is what we need this season. We need new and creative ideas to move from this changes all around us, from the VUCA around us, from the disturbances, the call it all the D's, all the changes we see around us. We need inspiration. We need, that fresh perspective. Inspiration. Guys, this is what I bring to you on the Word Cafe today. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whoever you are, listen. You need to be inspired. You need that inspiration. Oh, yes. You know how we say it on the show. This is the space where we come to lean on one another's experience to forge a positive path. That is what the Word Cafe is all about. So this season, reach out to that inspiration. All around, reach out for that inspiration. All right, guys, I need to go now. But whatever you do, remember, fresh ideas, fresh pair of eyes, all comes from inspiration. Till I come your way again. Bye for now.
Awesome time it has been with you on the Word Cafe podcast today. Thank you for being there. You can catch me up on my social media handles, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, all at Amakri Isoboye. Also, you can get copies of my books, A Cocktail of Words, The Color of Words, and my HR notebook on Amazon and on Robin Heights online bookstores. You can also subscribe to my YouTube page at the same address. Yes, till we see you again. Bye for now.